Hi, I'm Steve G. Jones, clinical hypnotherapist. I want to tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Florida, a master's degree in education from Armstrong Atlantic State University, and I'm working on a doctorate in education at Georgia Southern University. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist, a member of both the American Board of Hypnotherapy and the National Guild of Hypnotists. I'm president of the American Alliance of Hypnotists. I'm the director of the Steve G. Jones School of Clinical Hypnotherapy. I'm also on the board of directors of the American Lung Association in Los Angeles. I have over 2 decades of experience in hypnotherapy. I currently live in Savannah, Georgia, but I see clients and teach classes worldwide. My client base consists largely of people who need to lose weight, stop smoking, or gain some sort of confidence. Other clients include sales teams interested in boosting motivation and increasing income, singles searching for love, insomniacs desiring proper sleep, just to name a few. When I travel to see clients and do hypnotherapy certification classes around the world, I go to such places as Tokyo, Japan, Barcelona, Spain, Paris, France, London, England, Montreal, Canada, Los Angeles, California, and New York, just to name a few. By the way, since you have an interest in hypnosis, perhaps you would be interested in becoming a certified clinical hypnotherapist. It's very easy to do. All you have to do is go to my website, stevegjones.com, and click on Hypnosis Classes at the top. You can either train in person or online. You will then be added to our worldwide directory, and you'll receive a certificate. I was fortunate for several years to have an office in Beverly Hills, California, where I worked with such wonderful people as Tom Mankiewicz, the writer of Superman, Geraldine Saunders, the writer of The Love Boat. Recently, I was invited to be on The View with Barbara Walters and Whoopi Goldberg to talk about the powers of hypnosis. And with my over 20 years experience, I'm now happy to share with you techniques which I have both developed and learned about over the years, which I believe can help you improve your life. I encourage you to visit my website, stevegjones.com. There you'll find my life's work. Over 15 books on hypnotherapy, over 250 programming CDs which program your mind to achieve your goals in such areas as weight loss and motivation and stopping smoking. And of course, audiobooks like this one, where I'm talking with you and sharing in a very dynamic way the techniques you can use to make an improvement in your life and the way you do things. And the reason I'm telling you all this is not to impress you, but to impress upon you that your teacher, myself, is very capable, and I know what I'm talking about, and I'm happy to share this information with you. So rest assured you're in good hands, and let's have some fun as we now learn how to do certain techniques in a hypnotic way. I wish you well in your endeavors, and if I can be of further assistance in your journey, feel free to send an email to steve@stevegjones.com. Welcome to the program called How to Be Happy. I'm Steve G. Jones, clinical hypnotherapist, and I will be your tour guide, your mentor, as we go through this program together, because I want you to be able to take yourself from where you are right now into ultimate happiness. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to be happy for no apparent reason. It doesn't mean you're going to walk around with a grin on your face while the world is collapsing around you. What it means is that you're going to learn how to reach deep inside and find that part of you that's happy and bring it out regularly. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to be happy in every situation, in every single moment of your life, but it means that you're going to have more joy and therefore more fun in your life. You're going to start experiencing happiness on a regular basis, more of it. Now, if you're already a happy person, get ready to be happier. Now, it may seem odd to you that people aren't ready to be happy.
I mean, you may think to yourself, oh, everyone deserves to be happy. Everyone should be happy. It's just a matter of changing the way you think. But if you're using this program, chances are that there's something that's getting in your way of happiness. And I want to suggest to you that that thing is your mind. Your mind is getting in the way of happiness. History tells us of all kinds of people who have faced all kinds of situations. They've been in the most unhappy of situations. And yet they have pulled through. They have kept that inner light shining. They have found happiness no matter what their situation has been. I've heard stories of people in concentration camps who have found happiness in little things, in just getting a bite of food. They found happiness. They found a way to find happiness. So I'm suggesting to you that if you're not happy, you're just not finding a reason in your life to be happy. There are things that you're focusing on that are not making you happy. And there are things that you're not focusing on that could make you happy. So let's do a little experiment so I can illustrate that I'm not making this up, that I know what I'm talking about. Let's do a little experiment that's going to teach you about focus and about what you're focusing on and give you a little bit of insight as to why you might be unhappy when there's so many things to be happy about. What I want you to do right now is, if you're not driving, you can do this experiment. If you are driving, you can either pull over or do this experiment later. But with your eyes open, I want you to look around the room or the place that you're in. Maybe you're outside, wherever you are. I want you to look around. Maybe you're in an airplane, wherever you may be. Look around and notice everything that's blue. Just take a moment and really look around. That's right. Take a good look around. Look at everything that's blue. Look behind you, look above you, look below you. Look at yourself. Everything that is the color blue. Different shades of blue, perhaps. If you're flying, you can maybe look out the window. Maybe the sky is blue today. Sky is blue every day, actually, but maybe you can see the blueness of the sky. Look around. What do you see? That's blue. All right. Got it? You see everything that's blue? Now I'd like you to close your eyes. That's right. As long as you're not driving, close your eyes. And I want you to tell me everything you saw that's white. Okay. Aha. I tricked you, huh? Tell me everything you saw that's white. Go ahead and think it in your mind right now. What did you see that's white? What did you see that's the color white? Okay, take a few moments now and just finish up the list. What did you see that's white? Okay, and now I want you to open your eyes and look around. Look all the places you did for the blue, but now look for the white. What do you see that's white? Maybe some clouds out the window. Maybe a wall. What do you see that's white? The color white. Look at your clothing. Look down, look up, look back, look forward, look left, look right. Everywhere you looked for blue, look for white. What do you see that's white? Do you see more things that are white than you thought were there? Chances are you do. Now, why is that? Why would that be? Didn't you just look around? You looked up, you looked down, you looked everywhere. Well, of course, the reason is that you were looking for blue. You were focusing on blue. You were focusing on a certain color, and I asked you to tell me everything that was a different color. Tricked you a little bit. But isn't that the way that you have been living your life? Haven't you been looking for everything that's, well, let's face it, blue, that makes you feel down? Everything that makes you feel blue? Haven't you been looking for that? If you're using this program, it's a program called How to Be Happy. If you already knew how to be happy, you probably wouldn't be using this program. You've probably been looking at all of the things in your life that are blue, that are sad, that bring you down. And you fail to look on the bright side. That is the way the brain works. Whatever you focus on becomes your reality. If you focus on the things in your life that are sad and that bring you down, when you close your eyes at night to go to sleep, or when you imagine your possibilities, you're going to think about those things that are going to really get in your way. When you think about sadness and you try to imagine your future, well, what's going to be in your future? Sadness, of course. When you think about all the things that depress you, and you imagine your life, and you think about your life, and you talk about your life with other people, what are you going to talk about? Those depressing things. So many times I've been in lines at grocery stores and to get coffee and so forth, and I hear people talking about negative things, and it becomes almost a contest. It's almost like who can have the worst life. Oh, I had this happen. Oh, I had that happen. Oh, I had this happen. Oh, well, I had that happen. Oh, wow, you had that happen. So if we focus on negative things, what are we going to draw to us with our negative conversation? I mean, if someone came up to me and talked about negative things, I would let the conversation end right there, or I would change the topic. I would not try to one-up them with my negative thing than their negative thing. I don't believe in that. It's not going to go anywhere with me. But if you are focusing on negative things, things that make you unhappy, and you're encountering people who also feel that way, you're going to feel that you've met a kindred spirit. You're going to get along really well. Oh, this is going wrong. Oh, you're right. That's going wrong. Oh, you're right. And it's going to feed on itself. And you're going to become reinforced in your ideas that life is unhappy, and that you are unhappy, and that things are not going well, and that that's the way it's supposed to be, because this person who has become your sounding board and your coach in this moment is reinforcing that idea. Things aren't really going that well, that things are really bad, that things just don't get any better, because that's what you carry around with yourself. You're only seeing the blue, and you've met someone who's only seeing the blue, so that's what you talk about, because that's all that you can see, and that's all that they can see. You know what happens when all your negative friends start hearing positive things from you? You risk losing your negative friends. You know that person you call up and you talk to them about all the negative things that are going wrong? What happens when you call them up and start talking about positive things? Things are going really well. Wait a minute. You've just betrayed them. You've betrayed a sacred trust. We talk about negative things. That's what we talk about. So-and-so did this. This happened. That happened. Oh, it was so bad. Oh, you're right. Well, this terrible thing happened. When you change the way that you see the world and you try to talk to those people who you used to talk to about negative things, you're not speaking their language anymore. It's like you're speaking Chinese and they're speaking English, and neither of you is speaking the same language. The conversation doesn't go anywhere. So you've got to realize right now, when you commit to being happy, you may lose some of those negative friends. You may have to let them go. Are you prepared to do that? I want you to make sure that you're prepared to do that. The alternative is that you can help change their mind. They talk about negative things, you talk about positive things. Then maybe they start talking about positive things. Maybe you just never realized they just like talking to you. And they'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. And you're the one who's been driving the conversation in a negative way. And if you change to positive, they will change to positive. That was the situation I had. I had a situation about a month ago where I had a friend, and I didn't realize this until I started working on this program for you. I didn't realize this. I had one of those negative sounding board people, and I would call him up, and I would talk about negative things, and he would talk about negative things. Anytime something was going wrong for me, I would call that friend. Anytime something was going wrong for him, he would call me, and that's what we would talk about. Negative things, and we'd feed the fire of negativity and see just how big we could get it. We'd throw all kinds of things on the fire. Oh, this happened, that happened, and the fire would become raging like an inferno. And we liked it. We warmed ourselves by that fire, if you will. Well, one day I decided, I'm working on this program, How to Be Happy. I'm going to talk about this technique. I'm going to use that technique right now. Suddenly I started talking about positive things. Sure enough, he called up that day, and he had his negative things to dump on me and to share with me, and he was waiting for my negative things that I could feed the fire with. But I didn't come back with that. I came back with something positive. What a wonderful day it was. Beautiful day, 70 degrees, blue skies. I rode my bike that day. I shared that, told him about it, and there was silence on the phone. I thought, well, there's an example. That's the first friend I'm going to lose, the first negative friend. He's going away now because I'm talking about something positive, and that's okay because that's what I'm doing for the program to make this real for me so I can make it real for you. Well, actually what happened was that he started talking about positive things also. What was the problem? All those times that I called him, I was the problem. I was the one driving the conversation in a negative direction. All he wanted to do was talk to someone. So this wasn't an example of a friend that I was going to have to get rid of, a friend who was going to get rid of me. It wasn't that at all. It was just a friend who wanted to talk to me, and he wanted to relate. So he could play any chord that I wanted to play, any song that I wanted to sing. So he would match any conversation style. Anything that I wanted to talk about, he would talk about, but I didn't realize that. I never even thought about it. I was never even conscious of what was going on. I just thought, this is my friend, and I talked to him. I wasn't thinking about negative or positive, happy or sad, good or bad, right or wrong. I was just thinking about friend, talk to on the phone, that's it. And then I changed it up, and he matched me, and I changed it back to negative, and he matched me there too. So sometimes when you change, the people will change also. They'll change the tune they're playing, the song they're humming, however you want to say it. They'll change to match you. But other times, and this is what I want to prepare you for, other times, in fact, in most cases, people who talk negatively are not going to change. They don't just want to talk to you. They want to talk negatively. They want you to reinforce their idea that life is terrible, that things go wrong all the time. They want to reinforce that idea, and they want to hear it from you too. And they actually feel good about that. They feel good hearing that. They feel good saying that, so they want to hear you say that. And when you, quote, let them down, they're going to walk. They're not going to be your friends anymore. So you have to be prepared for that. If you want to live a happy life, you have got to focus on happiness. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to, as I said before, walk around all day with a smile on your face when the world's crumbling around you. Sometimes things happen that require you as a human being who cares about your life and the lives of others, things that require you to actually be sad. So I want you to realize that as part of the consequence of this program, you may lose those friends who are not happy, those friends who just want to call you up and be upset with you. So get ready to focus on being happy. You know what's going to happen when you become happy? When you start mostly being happy, when you start focusing on the good and not the bad mostly, you're going to find that, first of all, you're still, of course, human, as I've said. You're still able to focus on things that may go wrong, but you will also find that you're going to make new friends. Because just like in the experiment where you closed your eyes and you opened them and you looked for one color and you didn't see the other color or didn't see as much of it as was actually there, you're not seeing as much happiness as is actually there because you're not focusing on it. And if you're getting this program, How to Be Happy, I'm sure that you're just not focusing as much as you could be on all the happiness that's out there. So what's going to happen? Well, you're still going to have the ability to sympathize with people. You're still going to be sad sometimes because that's the way life goes. But you're going to find that you're going to attract more positive people. Now, why would that be? Why wouldn't they just be drawn to you anyway? Aren't people just people? And aren't they just drawn to each other based on interests and looks and so forth? How could a thought in your head attract a certain type of person, whereas it wasn't before? How could that make any sense? Well, thoughts in your head are real things because your thoughts dictate your actions, and your actions dictate your life. Your actions drive your career, your actions drive where you go, your actions drive who you come into contact with. Your actions drive a lot of things, but also the things that come out of your mouth are different when you think positively. When you talk negatively, you may not even think you're talking negatively. If you're predominantly a negative person, then predominantly negative things are going to come out of your mouth, unless you're just faking it, putting on your happy face and going through life. But if you're a real person and you're not happy, it's going to show. If you're down in the dumps, people are going to know it. Even if you try to hide it, people are going to know it. Unless you're a wonderful, highly adept actor, you are going to telegraph what you're doing. People are going to know it. If you ever felt really down and you don't want anybody to know, but they know, hey, what's the matter? Oh, nothing. Everything's fine. You sure you don't want to talk? No, everything's fine. People know the thoughts in your head. How do they know that? It's not because they're psychic. It's because they have eyes and ears. They can tell what's going on. They can sense differences. We're programmed to pick up on those things. So whatever is going on with you is being broadcast to the rest of the world. So when you start changing your thoughts to mostly positive thoughts, you are going to start appealing to those people who are mostly positive. You're going to start attracting them, and they are going to become attractive to you. And just as with the colors, you may not have noticed a lot of them. They're out there. They're everywhere. Happy people and sad people are everywhere. Now, I'm not trying to categorize people. People aren't either happy or either sad, but they can be mostly happy or mostly sad. They can be mostly upbeat or mostly kind of ho-hum. They're everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. There are a variety of types of people. And after you hang around them enough, you realize what they mostly are. And you begin to develop a sense for them. So what has gone on in your life is that you have probably blocked out a lot of the happy people because you don't notice them. Because your brain isn't thinking in terms of happiness. Your brain isn't thinking in terms of the color white. It's thinking of blue. And so you're missing a lot of it. Sure, you see some of them. You can't miss a lot of happy people, especially really annoyingly happy people who are laughing all the time and really loud about it and so forth. That's not what I'm trying to create with you, by the way. I'm not trying to make you into an annoying person. I'm trying to make you into a happy person who has calmness in your mind, a smile on your face, and you're pleasant to be with because you feel good about yourself and your possibilities. So once you start putting that out there to the world, these people are going to start noticing you, and you're going to notice them more. It's almost as if they're going to come into your life for the first time. But that's not really what's happening. There's nothing magical going on here. You're not sending out magical waves into the universe that attract these people. You're simply causing them to physiologically respond to you just like you're going to respond to them. People like being around people who are like them. Remember that. All right, let's take a little break, and I want to make sure that you're with me, that you're paying attention and that you're learning something. So what I want you to do right now is, if you're driving and you can pull over, go ahead and do that. If you're not driving, then you can definitely do this. You can take out a piece of paper and you can write down 5 things that you've learned so far from what I've said. 5 things that resonated with you. Now, I want you to keep in mind, they don't even have to be 5 things that I said. Maybe you got some good ideas from what I said. Maybe I said something and your brain took it and blew it up a million times and came up with all kinds of wonderful, amazing possibilities based on what I said. If that's the case, then feel free to write that down. I just want you to write down 5 things, whether they came from me or they're just thoughts that came in your head. 5 things that have come to you so far, either from me saying them or from you thinking them, as a result of listening to this program so far. So as I'm silent, I'm going to give you ample time now. I want you to write down 5 things, 5 thoughts that you have as a result of listening to this program so far. Do this now. Okay, do you have your 5 things? If not, go ahead and finish them up. 5 things, write them down. So I'm going to move forward now. Let's take those 5 things that you have written down, and I want you to elaborate on them. For example, if you have an insight number 1, that's I should change blank about myself, whatever it may be, I want you to elaborate on that. Whatever you've written down for point number 1, something that's come to you during listening to this program, I want you to elaborate on that now as I'm silent. Good. And now I want you to take point number 2 and elaborate on that. What was the second point that you wrote down, and how can you enhance this idea? I want you to make it real for yourself, because I want you to have, after you finish this program, something you can use. So on point number 2, elaborate on it. Consider what you wrote down as point number 2, the foundation. Now build a house on it. Go ahead and write down something now as I'm silent. Good. Now you're getting some momentum. Now for point 3. Point number 3 that you wrote down, something that came to you as you listened to this program, I want you to elaborate on point number 3 as I'm silent. Good. Now take point number 4, the fourth point that you wrote down, something that came to you while you're listening to this program. I want you to elaborate on point number 4 as I'm silent. Great. Last but not least, point number 5. Take point number 5 and elaborate on it as I'm silent. Good. So now you have something that you can take with you after this program. You have those 5 points that you elaborated on, and you can use them after this program's over. So let's continue on with the information now.